stumbled, able to get it to Huff. Here's Kihei Clark. Diakite steps back. A little too strong. Huff with
the press. Here's your ball screen.
Kihei Clark. Off the kick out. Extra pass. Diakite. No. Duke, Carolina. Louisville at the top of the ACC, though, trying to finish the deal. Diakite, one more. That's too short.
Minutes, and nobody has more than 9 points.
Shot clock at 4. Diakite short on the shot. Shoot for Virginia. Diakite back and his man down. Mitchell, turnaround, not even close. The Kihei Clark of college lacrosse. That game Saturday at noon on the ACC network. Just check it out.
I appreciate you asking me what game I was doing first before you.
5 to shoot. Clark back out beyond the arc. Somebody's got to let it go, and it's Diakite.
God, but when you consider that Virginia is where they are right now, 7-5 in the league, without those 3 guys, and you consider Jack Saw.
19 points. And they've got a minute and change to get over 19. Diakite not there.
1-2-2, look. Inside drive, kicks it out. Diakite going to try another 3. A little different than they were last year with fewer offensive weapons. Diakite feeling it. This is over. This is what we do, and it was. Diakite to beat the shot clock. And the shot clock.
Activity, it hurts.
shot clock a factor, down to 1, blocked away by Sarr, and that one fired up.
Now shooting 6 assists as well.
By my records, that 18.
Year developed as the year went on. Diakite.
Virginia would have gone home early if it weren't for
the first half.
Cut it to a 2-possession game with a score here, which would be quite a comeback for Virginia.
A deep 3, Diakite missed, and then Key's attempt was on the shot clock. The Tensai with the bounce, 2 to get off the shot. Tough one on the baseline. You can't bury that.
Definitely available to do that, but you know, one of the things that Virginia found out, you know, at Mohegan Sun over the weekend. But again, coaches can only draw up in a way to help you be successful. He can't make the shots for you. And Fleming called for the foul.
Being guarded by his best buddy, Remy Martin. Diakite launches and knocks down the. They called that one against Valtonen.
No call by the officials.
Painful gifts, I believe they refer to it as. Morcell has come into the game for Virginia. This is Diakite. He likes that definitively for that shot clock to fully reset. Diakite did get it away, but kids in college. Diakite against 2 defenders, wall off, turn around.
From the upperclassmen in this game.
And now a substitution as, well, the Tensai is out of the game, and Casey Morcell.
Hey, Clark, he'll pull a 3. Gets his own. Clark gives it up. And Diakite with the layup. Great pass.
Alley-oop, and watch the guy picking for the shot.
Kyle Guy back on the floor. Retaped ankle. Here's Diakite. Turnaround. Air ball.
The rebounds, box out. Just a lot of work for the guy.
Diakite with Eifert on him. Patient. And Diakite, no, and it's Harms. Now Diakite, a race for it. Into the hands of Clark. Got a chance to win it here. Up the front. Here's Diakite for the win.
So now he's reset the defense.
Kihei Clark. Bullet pass. Diakite. Got it. Down the floor. Diakite with one. Was it in time? Oh, it doesn't matter. Side. I'll give it back to him. Diakite. Sides to take it to the hole. Off the mark. They got numbers there.
Yeah, good comparison. Boy, Virginia really wrapping those screens right now. Making Louisville work. What a pass. What a look. And Diakite proves that Blondes have more.
Buen pase. Diakite falla.
You're stuck around, you know, maybe he could have transferred somewhere else. But
Diakite off a soft back
outside Guy. Clock now at 4. Jerome to Diakite. That's perfection, folks.
That was Davis matching up on it. We talked about his versatility. Davis now matching up on a 7-footer. The feed to Diakite. He cannot.
Well for Louisville. Keep an eye on Diakite. High arching whistle. We have a lane violation. It goes the other way. Ball game.
Постоянной основе проигрывают ему один 30-секундный отрезок за другим.
Diakite on the reverse. Got his own rebound and makes no mistake with the second opportunity.
He's have the lead for the first time tonight.
Always interesting to hear how he was one of those guys that was under-recruited. He wasn't a 5-star recruit.
Yeah, he was
trying to cut into this 9-point deficit.
Diakite fouled on the way back.
Faro kicks out. Statman. Diakite rebounds and is fouled underneath.
Clark back to work on the cell. Kihei Clark somehow rolled out.
Shot clock a factor, down to 1, blocked away by Sarr, and that one fired up, and he's Wake Forest in the ACC, and he's coming off a very, very nice game, 22 against Clemson.
Yeah, now we've got some energy in the building.
I mean, right back. Key can't connect. Diakite won that one.
Team, and again the domino effect. Somebody's open. The patience and the selflessness to deliver to White for the look from the perimeter.
46 on the line. So Virginia gets it back with 1:12 to go in the OT.
An unforced error culture. And that's why Hunter said he chose to come to Virginia. It just made him feel good to be around this group. It's a family, and it was up until.
What do you think will decide this game?
Virginia taking care of the basketball, continuing to explore driving lanes, and establishing Diakite in the post.
Really could have used. They had a lead in that game. Virginia Tech came storming back. Dolajai wrapping around, couldn't fit it. Be careful.
Well, I'm playing him now because I'm not worried about him falling out.
Wolves at Tensai against Boeheim. Diakite, the offense.
Shot clock winding down. Jay Heath contested deep 3 off the glass.
An answered prayer.
He just has a lot more confidence about him as well as one of the leaders. Clark will sweep on by. There's Diakite.
And he gave them 5 days off for the holiday break because of how young this team is. The freshmen hadn't been home since June, since they got.
With a score here, which would be quite a comeback for Virginia.
A deep 3, Diakite missed, and then Key's attempt was
Ohio University.
And those college hoops heads out there might be thinking Gino Ford. Yep, that Gino Ford, the point guard back in the day, the mid-90s.
Pushed out, shot clock down to 2, and that won't fall in. Diakite right back up the left hand, that won't fall.
Line moving out to the international distance. Key takes it up, partially blocked. Diakite, his first rebound.
How to be in the right place at the right time.
Kihei Clark. Diakite, the follow. Kicked up top for Clark. He'll swing it for the jump shot and blocked away by Hughes. Diakite, short range, no.
Absolutely.
Is that an unusual position for a 4 or a 5 guy to operate offensively? Because you see how much discomfort.
There's a little double.
And there's Gotti. Diakite with the putback. No, yes. Oh, wow.
Methodical, take their time, get a good shot. It goes back to glass.
Mamadi off the front of the ring line. Wow. Again, unable to convert. Second chance, yes.
That's what Jerome. He doesn't.
Back outside with it to Clark. On the floor. Mamadi.
Being in the right spot. They get.
Oh, buen pase adentro. Gran pase adentro y mejor la jugada defensiva de Diakite.
Y Hunter step in 2 off the wing. Diakite the rebound and the stick back with the right hand.
Right, and if you sees his first action in nearly a month since he last played against Notre Dame. Diakite hit on.
Shot clock at 10. Clark to Diakite. Gets his own miss, sticks it up and in.
Speaks to the coaching of Buzz Williams as well in his 5th year here in Blacksburg. That's an air ball from Kihei Clark, and they had to fight.
There's Kyle Guy to clean it up for Jerome. Diakite misses a slam from point blank.
Game. That's how good Virginia is this year overall.
Crowd on a foul, no call. Copeland's got the ball now before. Will not be discouraged if they don't make a couple.
This is Salt. Too strong. Diakite starting his 3rd straight game. Mike and Dan played collegiately at Marshall. Mike, the head coach of the Houston Rockets. Dan spent a extended.
Guarded by Nigel Johnson, who has the ball now, transferred from Rutgers. Wow, Hall from about 6 feet. More fouls in the second half than we had in the first. And with 8.5 to go, Diakite.
Virginia's just executing. 17 straight wins over Virginia here at Cameron. Purdue, corner, Hall, off the rim. Game for Syracuse.
And they only trail 6 now with under 8 to go.
Really, that's what's keeping them in.
Jerome scoops. Diakite.
Guy dribbling, hands it off for Jerome. Ty Jerome flipped it off the back rim. He was out.
And Guy can't finish, but Wilkins is there. It's tipped around. Diakite off the glass.
The top winning percentage at home in the ACC, 1 win ahead of Duke. So when you think about home court advantages, there's none bigger.
Last 3 games, Walda Tensai has been held in check. He's made just 1 field goal. He's been shut out the last 2 as Diakite missed.
And those plays are highlights for the group here at the JPJ.
He and Diakite, the 2 seniors, on their final line. They play tonight against Duke, and they're going to be the most dangerous 14 seed in Greensboro you could ever imagine this coming week.
Tie ball game. We are level at 9. The Who's and the Hurricanes. Mamadi Diakite.
The Cavaliers' problem is the only guy, and nobody has more than 9 points.
Shot clock at 4. Diakite short on the shot. Big 7-footer. Mamadi Diakite in the paint. And leading scorer. Better rebounding team than Miami this season. Are you surprised they don't have more on the offensive glass?
No, Virginia's a very good defensive rebound.
Notre Dame leading Florida State right now. And if Notre Dame hangs on to win.
Stanley and Matthew Hurt all on the floor. Plenty of experience still with this group for UVA. And a fadeaway from 3 to start off.
Good 1-1 right here. Diakite's got
Across
size.
the lane. Too strong. Defensively than Virginia.
That's the key right here. What's going to prevail?
Diakite. Yes.
Diakite's figure scores, and I don't believe he has scored.
He has not scored yet. Gives it up here to Diakite, who gets shut down. Gathers and rims one out.
runs down, and that's not the way you can play against either one of these defenses.
Diakite for Huff.
Well, of course, now Huff has a left.
Resume.
Scouting report, Ward the only double-figure scorer for the Cards throughout the season. As Diakite, this is bad.
Number 23. Diakite against Mitchell. He's rotation. Diakite jumper.
Play, and they have had this much emphasis on playing inside, especially when Bonzi Colson wasn't on the floor.
Diakite missed, which is interesting because he said they feel like they've got a better defensive strategy with the two bigs on the floor.
Minutes, only had a rebound of the box score. Bit of a different story today. Diakite wants to extend the range.
Virginia defense has given them a lot of opportunities, but they're not dribbling. They are passing and really moving the ball.
Diakite, short first half.
Cut it to a two-possession game with a score here, which would be quite a comeback for Virginia.
A deep three, Diakite. D.A. Clark swings it. Diakite, long distance.
Being guarded by his best buddy, Remy Martin. Diakite launches and knocks down the first.
Those are great. That'd be my luck. Boy, this is watched by a lot of water. That's what I mean.
This is key. Diakite.
As good as Braxton Keys, of course, Diakite a much better interior defender.
Clark trying to connect with Diakite. Little follow away, hit the rim.
Virginia making shots. Shooting it better from the outside from three. Haven't taken as many. They went inside.
Virginia to get out of their comfort zone.
Pick and pop. Now Diakite, the flush. A ball screen for Clark. Pick and pop with Diakite.
And Virginia Tech just stood around on that possession. They got three big guys out there, didn't take advantage of it.
Hunter, nice pass to Diakite. He got hit on the
Virginia's pace.
Diakite having a nice night. Next day, second big block of the day.
It's always difficult to beat guys from Virginia off the dribble, but even when you do, there's always going to be help there.
Virginia's got the basketball first with Kihei Clark. Inside to Mamadi Diakite, who was just recognized on scene.
The top winning percentage at home in the ACC, one win ahead of Duke. So when you think about home court advantages, there's none bigger. Braxton Key have been consistent, but if they get the shooting from Thomas Walter-Tensau or Casey Vassell's able to get his offense going.
Wait a second.
You know what? I shouldn't have asked a second time.
Here's Diakite. Great footwork on the post by Virginia. Diakite. Very patient, able to get it up on the rim. Goes after his own miss and has it.
Empty possessions.
Diakite avoids the double team and lays it.
And how about the adjustment by Chris Mack to go with the three guards and get Darius Perry on the floor?
Total that day when you asked him. Foul on the post. No, they call. In they go to Mamadi Diakite. Defended by Wara. Contact and a foul.
Big 7-footer. Mamadi Diakite in the paint. And leading scorer. Hurricanes within 2. Diakite kicking it out for Kihei Clark. And he hits his into double digits. He's got a dozen. Back to a 2-point game. Diakite pass Stone, and finally Mamadi Diakite's 6-game winning streak. 5 of the 6 games have been decided by 3 points or less. So they're very comfortable in these. Has not produced. 6 minutes gone by. Diakite, veteran, playing in his 101st career game here tonight. Diakite using his strength.
And that's what Diakite does.
Notre Dame leading Florida State right now. And if Notre Dame hangs on to win defensively than Virginia.
That's the key right here. What's going to prevail? Diakite, yes. Diakite wants to back down Cassius Stanley across the lane. The old school skyhook is good.
Diakite. Very patient, able to get it up on the rim, goes after his own miss and has it. Key. Clark gets himself free for an open two. And the back tap gets it.
2-1. Diakite on the reverse. Got his own rebound and makes no mistake with the second opportunity.
The 10 size scoreless to this point. He remains scoreless. Diakite lost in that play.
Oh, they didn't call it one?
It looked like they had. Here's Diakite. Hit the underside of the rim. Gets it back. Somehow throws it out.
Last 3 games, Wolde Tensai has been held in check. He's made just 1 field goal. He's been shut out the last 2. As Diakite midline, they play tonight against Duke, and they're going to be the most dangerous 14 seed in Greensboro you could ever imagine this coming week.
Diakite spinning and traveling.
And nobody has more than 9 points.
Shot clock at 4. Diakite short on the shot. Diakite traveled with the basketball. Hit one from downtown so far tonight.
Oh, he's only taken one.
Diakite on the reverse. Got his own rebound. Here as we get down towards the end of the regular season with the postseason looming, Dan.
Well, you can't worry about how deep that approach is going to take you.
Stanley and Matthew Hurt all on the floor. Plenty of experience still with this group for UVA. And a fadeaway from 3 to start off.
Good one right here. Diakite's got
across
size.
the lane. Too strong. Now, sometimes you can look at the record. Sometimes it's the eye test. Dayton passes every eye test that you would ever want to see. Followed by
Figure scores, and I don't believe he has scored.
He has not scored yet. Gives it up here to Diakite, who gets shut down. Gathers and rims one out. Diakite spins baseline. Banks it in.
Yeah, we saw that pregame, and of course the place exploded on the pass from Kihei Clark to help tie up that game against Purdue that they won in overtime to go on to the
is a NCAA tournament team.
And the other conference tournament that will have its championship later on today. Braxton. Kihei Clark.
If Virginia wins out, Florida State loses twice, and Duke loses, then Virginia can still claim the outright. For a game like that, 1 point. It makes such a critical difference. To give it away like that hurts, says Kihei Clark, playing with those three personal this half from three-point range.
Well, the amazing thing is you quote all those numbers you want, but they're only down by 4 points. It's just
they'll take that clock right down. Tempo's been their key.
Braxton Key. Yes.
For the Syracuse 34 on several occasions. Incredible.
Key to the bucket, and he's fouled.
Put him some touches.
Screens for Woldentensae instead. That won't go. Trey Jones.
You know, he can get a lot of talk in terms of being a potential player of the year in the conference.
Challenging at the rim.
If I'm coming off of a ball screen, I'm going to go right into the big man who's hedging, force them to start to call that foul. I don't know about that shot.
Greens, whatever the case is, don't lose it.
I'd say even more importantly, it's just off the ball. It's easy to get lost. When the ball goes to the opposite side, that's when Woldentensae's one of the biggest.
It's not that far. We have unlimited data. We can chat all we want. I'm comfy.
But it's like 10 feet.
Up in the air where the only thing he could do, because the pass wasn't there on the baseline, was go up for a shot. It was going to be heavily contested.
Key curls off.
He scored in a flurry.
That's nasty, man. That's just nasty. It doesn't go in. It looks like a bad shot.
Again, you run your offense, you break down that Virginia D, and then get a wide open foul line jumper. You'll take that if you're Jeff Capel. You just have to capitalize on that when you get an open look.
Here's the man his teammates were calling LeBron the other day at the point, bringing it up. Braxton Key to Kihei Clark. Game against Purdue.
And it's always interesting to hear how he was one of those guys that was under-recruited. He wasn't a...
Woldentensae.
Yes, sir, and you saw the nice fake.
Wide open for three.
Take them. You know, the score differential percentages you shot in that game. So they beat Sacred Heart at home earlier this year, and they didn't play well. They only scored.
Tina. Both teams have gone really cold. Woldentensae trying to change that.
Key will go to the line. Virginia and North Carolina. John Shambi, Dan Diakite, thanks for joining us.
Newly bearded John Shambi, by the way.
Well, we haven't found the rest of it. It's been dealing with that scratched cornea since it happened the first time early in the year in the Bahamas. It's happened 3 different times in the same eye. Great look as Kihei Clark.
It's deadly. Almost makes me feel bad for whipping these guys in '84 when they had the #1 team in the country, dude. Almost.
Well, he had 10 points. Clark going to work, hesitates, feed inside. Huff wouldn't go. Not missing a beat, says, Dan, you were that guy.
Yeah, and I said, hey, 1984, Omni in Atlanta, Michael Jordan, Indiana, how'd that work out for you?
Wow.
They got to get Woldentensae on the same side as Diakite. Diakite set a great screen there. He's been...
Woldentensae.
Give you the opportunities. Two teams that do not give it up very often. Notre Dame, #1 in the country, where they've sat 1 or 2 most of the year in assist-to-turnover ratio.
Yeah, fair enough. And you talk about history. Let me tell you a couple things that happened today. And all of it 30 years ago today, February 11th, 1990, Magic Johnson won the after being away from home for 4 days.
Well, if you get out on the mall in Charlottesville, you got a lot of options.
Back to the basket, but I can tell you right now, oftentimes when I look at Mooney when he shoots the basketball, not the typical form, and often.
You better believe UConn fans are saying we let him transfer. We didn't feed him the ball for 2 years.
Kept watching all of it.
With your wife.
Should be asleep.
Kihei Clark jumps into a long.
Big boy.
Got a little Kawhi Leonard in him right there, huh? Well, the 10 side.
Whoa.
That one's good. Casey Morsell, the freshman. Well, the 10 side. Man. Found his shot again.
Some real game pressure on Virginia.
Walden Tensai, a three. That's an air ball. Blocked at the rim by Mitchell. No made field goals in the last 4 minutes for the Cavaliers. Statman trying to change that. Virginia has to hurry it again. This offense not accustomed to doing so. Quick three. Statman can't.
Made threes per game, 5th in the nation, almost 11 made threes per game. This is Clark. High Archer.
Find easy baskets in this one.
Kihei Clark, the guy that leads their offense. Statman, and a 3 will go.
Really, really good. But they're not great. This is not the best team that Mark Few's had. But it might be the team that's got the best chance to win a championship given the landscape.
Yeah, we saw that pregame, and of course the place exploded on the pass from Kihei Clark to help tie up that game against Purdue that they won in overtime to go on to the last 3 games. Walden Tensai has been held in check. He's made just 1 field goal. He's been shut out the last 2 as Diakite missed. Kihei Clark. They play tonight against Duke, and they're going to be the most dangerous 14 seed in Greensboro you could ever imagine this coming week.
And nobody has more than 9 points.
Shot clock at 4. Diakite short on the shot. Better rebounding team than Miami this season. Are you surprised they don't have more on the offensive glass?
No, Virginia's a very good defensive rebound.
Here as we get down towards the end of the regular season with the postseason looming, Dan.
Well, you can't worry about how deep that approach is going to take you.
Stanley and Matthew Hurt all on the floor. Plenty of experience still with this group for UVA. And a fade away from 3 to start off.
Good one right here. You keep these guys
across the lane. Too strong.
They defeated Wake Forest. This game somewhat encapsulates what college basketball has been this year. A number 9 Florida State.
Virginia Tech. What impressed you most in that game that they can carry into tonight, Malcolm?
Well, I think from an offensive standpoint, that right
for sure. 4 wins in a row for Virginia Tech. He's 10-3 on the season. Diakite along the baseline. Bennett certainly concerned about defending the three-point line against this Hokie team. And there's always a different dimension, a different layer when you're playing your score. He's the leading scorer for Virginia with 9. Diakite rising and hitting. The only loss at home this year was December 22nd against South Carolina as Diakite makes it.
That he wasn't going to do as much as he had.
I don't think it's expected for a freshman with his ranking coming in to be leading a team at the point guard position.
Staff led by Perry Clark, who was an assistant to Bobby Crimmins back in the day.
Diakite not able.
Boy, having Bryant back in the lineup for South Carolina, he is such a great athlete.
Diakite on the spin move, drives it hard and draws the foul. Diakite a little follow away, yes, all net.
And that's been the story this afternoon.
Carolina dribbling it over the line. Diakite on the attack, can't bank it in.
But again, coaches can only draw up in a way to help you be successful. He can't make the shots for you. And Fleming called for the foul.
Get something out in the open floor. That time Arizona State created a nice little transition opportunity off of their defense.
The inside, he missed.
They try to go to a weave here to a high ball screen to try to get in the lane.
Holding that right ankle of his.
Timeout here.
That play continues. We'll have the injury. Tayshaun Cherry fell down and grabbed. They called that one against Valtonen.
Diakite. Checked by Sean East. Too small. It's a good no call by the officials. He wants to stay.
In college. Diakite against 2 defenders. Wall off. Turn around.
Decided on last-second shots. They won this past Wednesday in their home opener over Binghamton. And our 1-2 is an all-Ivy League player, coming off a 19-point performance on Wednesday against Binghamton in their last outing. The lead at 15 now for Virginia.
Virginia may not have many one-and-done recruits, but defense side. I'll give it back to him. Diakite decides to take it to the hole. Off the mark. They got numbers.
Sort of static until the shot clock runs down, and that's not the way you can play against either one of these defenses.
Diakite for Huff.
Well, of course, now Huff has 11.
Within 2. Diakite kicking it out for Kihei Clark. And he hits his first 3.
pressure on BC. Relentless. Statman, can he chase it down? No, he does.
There's no room, and now a lazy pass.
Diakite ends up with a basketball, and then the floater, and it goes.
And another turnover.
Undisciplined.
Skying the alley-oop. 5'10" against going 7'1". On the other end, a slam. And on the defensive end, Clark pokes it away to Diakite through traffic. The hoop and the...
Diakite on the defensive end, the steal. Maine only had 4 made baskets in the first half. They've already had 2 taken away. Clark leads it. The flush.
A miss in the second half. Told this afternoon that former Louisville coach here, Diakite down the lane.
Diakite. Whoa! Missed the dunk.
As amazing as they were. Good defense. Guy to steal. Diakite again. I wonder why Golden O.
Diakite. Trap him out a high percentage shot. That's a coach's dream to watch a play like that.
Buzz Williams. I'm telling you, that's a pretty tough kick. And now he's back on defense.
To create Virginia's opportunity to tie with a 3.
Virginia and North Carolina. John Shambi, Dan Dockich, thanks for joining us.
Newly bearded John Shambi, by the way.
Well, we haven't found the rest of it.
Size advantage.
Oh, take that ball to the basket.
Instead, it's Key. Back out to Diakite. He's got a 3.
Scouting report wore the only double-figure score for the Cards throughout the season. As Diakite misses bad.
5 to shoot. Clark back out beyond the arc. Somebody's got to let it go, and it's Diakite.
High ball game. We are level at 9. The Who's and the Hurricanes. Mamadi Diakite.
The Cavaliers' problem is the only guy.
Diakite gives off. Statman gets inside.
And those plays are highlights for the group here at the JPJ.
He and Diakite, the 2 seniors, on their final.
Virginia defensively on very much the same kind of defensive pattern that they had in the
Side. One of the great things that Virginia does is tap out on missed shots if they can't get an offensive rebound, and it results in a. Gives it up to Diakite. Steve Nash imitation.
Which is interesting because he said they feel like they've got a better defensive strategy with the 2 bigs on the floor.
Be the slowest paced team for 5 straight years, even though the face has changed. Diakite, that's way off the mark.
Diakite. Way too strong. This zone. He's 27-3. Now let's get back to the game. We got a good game.
Okay, that sounds like a plan. Diakite from deep. Got it!
Oh, Diakite.
And he is making it from one end of the floor to the other. Now trying to carve out some space against Jay Huff in the high post. There goes Wara on attack. Will has tied the ball game at 20. Wara, tough shot. Put back
at the University of Virginia.
Virginia closed the first half on a 6-0 run. They've scored the first 4.
He definitely deserves to be on there. Unfortunately, it's only 5 spots.
Shut and deny.
Earlier in this game, so every time you take a hit, it's going to be a problem.
And right now, Chris Mack recognizing they need offense. Jordan Moore got even deeper into that lead.
With what you just said, Corey, does that make, in your mind, Florida State the favorite in Greensboro as Laura could
gotten them to this 51-51 tie?
Kimball, block, Laura.
Guard Chris Lights.
Now Isaiah Wong is going to get called for the offensive foul, pushing off on. Shot clock in single digits, and Keith Stone takes it to the rack. This is Harlan Beverly. A quick burst of speed.
Great job.
Tough turnarounds. Not there for Josh.
Of attacking pressure defense.
Carey challenged by Diakite.
I can hear a Duke fan saying, how come they don't show our big wins? Why don't they show our big wins? Because it's always a story.
Now an offensive foul on Jack.
A lot of tension going on the benches, I can guarantee you that.
Trey Jones goes to work quickly, off balance.
Oh,
that's goaltending on Diakite.
But yet they still get scoring from beyond the arc, almost 42%. Naheem Ali
dives hard. When he dives hard, help comes in. Thomas Walter-Tenzai just makes the read, comes to the ball.
Nolly put Clark, got just about to the basket, sent it out. Walter-Tenzai for.
Pitt retains. Johnson does a nice job to bring it out to Champagny, who hit the side of the backboard. Be sure to download the ESPN app if you're watching on your mobile device.
I can't wait to watch that one. We take a look again.
Now trying to reestablish with a new regime under head coach Jeff Capel in the ACC.
Going with the braids today. A little cleaner cut look for Walton-Tenzai. Strong to the bucket, no call. Popovich. He'll try and work on Huff. Nice look to get it to Felder. Drop. Keith looking to penetrate. Shot blocked by Huff. Lead is up to 8 now for the Cavaliers. Dangerous time for BC. Heath. Ooh, he makes a move to the bucket.
Tell you.
Popovich tries to drive on Diakite. A lot of contact, but no call in the bucket. Popovich to his left, now right. Diakite with a block on Popovich. Popovich will finish it with a layup.
One. Fluger with a whip to Leschewski, who's denied against Louisville, and now they're an 11 seed according to Joe Lunardi's projections today. Fluger switched hands as he went to the lane, trying to stay atop the Big Ten when they square off against preseason #1 Michigan State, which is entirely out of the top 25. Yeah. Mooney thought about it, drives, and he is going to.
I think you're right. That ball was deflected. Laura got Diakite in the air. Crafty. Dan Marino like quick trigger too from him. He did not have much room. Jordan Laura revving it up down the lane. Rebound.
They never lose sight of the shooters and where their comfort locations are.
Osborne creates space. Virginia, he hasn't gotten a lot of run. Also, number 22, Francisco Cafaro has checked in as Tony Bennett's looking for some answers, and one of them is to change the clock here from time to time. Creative in this color. It's an 8-0 run for the Cavaliers as soft putt. Wilkes trying to turn the corner on Diakite. Creates a little space, and Wyatt Wilkes 17-9 for Diakite, and now the Who's crowd trying to get a stop. Walker strong, the follow by Polite. They've been really, really good one-possession games in overtime the last 8 years. 38-8. Wyoming 4-10. Can it be Vassell again? Devin floating, flying, no good. Huff has
Deflected away on the block.
That's what Cafaro brings you, a true rim protector, not making it easy going to the rim.
Clark trying to...
Baby, with me. Must have been some other
shot, getting inside the paint. When Clark gets 2 feet in the painted area, great things happen.
This one pretty much what you expected today.
another turnover. There's 7. But Diakite hustled back to block the shot by Bryce. Helms blocked the
pass to deliver that to Diakite. Lackadaisical, and it cost him.
Alvarado had a step on Clark, used it the whole...
Player of the game at this point with his decision making. At every turn, making the right choice.
A foul before
is on the board. You got to see a lot of that from Diakite. With this offense, he's got to take matters into his own hands.
To the bucket, count it, and
Bennett at Green Bay back in the late 80s and early 90s. He's known for his offense, but he learned his defensive principles from his dad. Learned the pack line.
The basketball when they beat Purdue.
Tough pass to handle.
Duke center.
Down around the knees.
And I don't know if neither of those guys, in fact, I know that neither of those guys were quite ready for that adjustment.
Great steal, great hands by pressure on BC. Relentless. Statman, can he chase it down? No.
Congestion in the post. Brooks went down, nobody doubled. There was no room, and now a lazy pass.
Diakite ends up with 104.
offensive foul, Braxton Key. That's his second personal, picked up 90 seconds into the second half.
After the season, when you talk about, those 2 replays that were sure, you're going to talk about 2 great resumes. No question about it.
That was the 6th-team foul, so on the next Virginia foul, both teams will be in the bonus.
Here comes the big man for the ball screen. 5 to shoot against Williams. A step through. It's a long 2.
One off the glass and in.
That is an impressive move by Mamadi Diakite.
Good hands there. Morcell gives off and climbs the ball game. Diakite trying to knock it away. Clark comes away with it. Since they're open. That's a pass inside. And the bounce pass is thrown away by Black. Another turnover.
Foul, but you just got to get in the way and cut hard. Like Stefanovic is sprinting to set screens. He's not jogging. You've got
Diakite on the defensive end, the steal. What they've been able to do early, combined 17 of the 24 points for Virginia, and I'm sure we'll see much more of that as the second half.
Braxton Key and Diakite, 3 of them play so well with each other. The strength of this Virginia team in the past has been their...
This game for UMass to climb back inside, but they've got to get Mitchell going down in the low post. The thing is, Alphonse, they've only scored 2 points.
To the Cavaliers. Shot clock down to 5. Diakite knocked it away from Lamb. The handles from the big man.
Against UVA.
Really important. The first 4 minutes for Columbia, not to have turnovers, quality looks.
The start of your last year, he let us know, I got more for you tonight, so it will be interesting to see, but off to a great start for Diakite. Back in that zone, going to be interesting to see how long Lewis Rose stays in it.
Another beautiful find from Clark. Key couldn't. Hughes pounding it to the deck. Boeheim tried to feed inside. It's picked off and turned over.
Redshirt senior out of La Romana in the Dominican Republic, Brandon Francis.
Bad pass. Not going to get away with that.
Wisconsin and Delafield, Wisconsin ended up at A&M Corpus Christi as a turnover by King. They pulled the chair on the freshman.
The subtle one. Here's Doolittle. The leading scorer in conference play has it stripped away.
6 more than he scored in any other game in his career. And Virginia's on its way to the semifinals.
as they lead.
With a Nike ball ever since Monday. And obviously it feels really good to them because they're 8 out of 15 from 3 in this game.
And they haven't missed in the second.
The half for Guy. When they blitzed the Hokies in Charlottesville a month ago.
No ball will go to Virginia.
That's great defense. I was about to say, Virginia's defense has been very solid, but their offense has.
Well, they don't really expect that from him. He's now 50% on the year. He's 3 out of 6.
Then he steals the ball.
Start for the Cavaliers.
Dan, it's a 12-0 run. The march has gone over from Indianapolis, Indiana. And the 6th time this season he has gotten into double-figure scoring. Last year as an All-American guy.
They might have a couple more weapons than they've had in some of their prior years, as amazing as they were. Good defense. Guy the steal. Diakite.
They just give you the molasses drill.
Of course. Game, because you're never really going to be able to separate yourself from Virginia, regardless of the venue.
Overhand and blocked, and 32 to go in the second half. Here's Hall. Hard drive, denied.
Save. You see the field goal was shooting in the numbers. Virginia dominating the second half, 21-6.
You see, since the 80-81 season, when they started 12-0.
Moore sets the screen for Wilbekin. Moore was calling for it. Now gets it on the lob. It's denied by
Clinic 101. How to make the extra pass and a high percentage shot. That's a coach's dream to watch a play.
Into Clark beyond the arc.
Don't want to see a drop off. None of your starters are in. But you want execution, and you know Coach Bennett holds them to that standard.
15-1 records. It's the 19th meeting all time. Each has won 9. Carter has 5 threes in the second half.
Reset. Russell doubled. Oh, they had the pick and roll. Preston kicked it.
Blues have missed their last 6 attempts. Sutton able to put it through.
Releasing the pressure, allowing David Johnson to get it into scoring position, and Clark, who plays 37 minutes a game, second most in the ACC.
Sam Wardenberg, their leading shot blocker and rebounder, out of the game. So that means Cameron McGusty is going to take it inside, but has it partially blocked by Ben. Shot clock in single digits for the Hurricanes, who trail by 4. Isaiah Wong on the reverse, and he can't get it to. Shot clock now at 6. Beverly over Kihei Clark. Rebound to Wardenberg with 1 on the shot clock. McGusty inbounds for Miami. To Vasiljevic over Woldetensai, and with
Trey Jones pulls up at the elbow. That's too strong. Braxton Key's got.
Oh, that's got to give him a little confidence. He did a great job right there. Defense. So they make you play a little patient too, as you see the number of passes Duke's going to go through.
Laurier right over the top of Huff.
You know, Laurier kills him.
Now he needs some help. Shot clock at 5. Wendell Moore bails him out. He'll take it to the bucket. A finger roll off the backboard is good.
Virginia by 29. They blew up Michigan State by 29.
So you think Purdue belongs in, obviously.
No, I think that, number one, I don't like that. Look at conference. Coach K told us before the game.
An offensive foul is called.
Stanley Smart right there in that foul. Oh, there it is.
Carey, pump fake, blocked underneath by Huff.
Diakite
guards look fresh. Now, Malik Williams, who sprained that ankle versus Florida State, is not 100%, but outside of that, this is a fresh group.
Clark got just about to the basket, sent it out, rolled it 10 side 4.
Sure to download the ESPN app if you're watching on your mobile device.
I can't wait to watch that one. We take a look again.
Going with the braids today. A little cleaner cut look for Golden 10 side. Strong to the bucket, no call. Lead is up to 8 now for the Cavaliers. Dangerous time for BC. He makes a move to the bucket.
Eventually kicked it back out. Anthony jumper. Got it. Cole Anthony with a three.
Love seeing Mamadi Diakite playing with his back to the basket, going to the jump hook. He's more athletic than most of the players he's going to play against. However, Juwan Durham showing off.
Again. Oh no, we found the limits on which Corey will opine.
Yeah, well, when you look at it and you see Virginia with the BPI 42, Notre Dame 40.
Now, Likes has to be careful. He already picked up one offensive foul.
The turnaround from Stone.
Here we go. Going to try to isolate him one-on-one.
Carry over Diakite.
during the same span. And of course, Duke's got a huge game following us tonight against North Carolina here on ESPN. Enoch for three.
By the Who's getting into the paint and forcing the defense to step up and giving Mamadi a great look.
Wara's
developed.
Wara, long range three, well off the mark.
Now coming to Diakite next time.
Well, I'm glad you translated for me because I wasn't sure what he was doing.
You didn't know about the too small?
I've never been on the other end of it. Perry finds Wara for three.
One time.
Kimball, block. Wara for three.
Is DJ Vasiljevic. With the shot clock at 5, Wardenberg has to kick it out for Stone. He takes his championship if Florida State loses one game down the stretch. They've had their hands full with Notre Dame here tonight, and the game being
a three-point shooter. In conference play, he shoots 15%.
This is Keith Stone. Out for the corner three from Isaiah Wong. He's corner for Vasiljevic. Huff gets on him. And now Keith Stone, the straightaway three from...
Nobody rotated out on him. It was an excellent pass, too. Clark might be one of the 5 best little guys in basketball.
Matthew Hurt with a brick. Wait. Wendell Moore. Diakite shuts him down. He's got his dribble back. Shot clock at 3. Puts up a 3. That hit.
Her daughter went to Duke, and her daughter dates Emile Jefferson, now with the Magic, former Duke star. So the Green family is watching this game intensely.
And gets the first start of his Hokies career.
Well, and I like that. You bring Landers Nally off the bench and you say, go be instant offense. You're able to be aggressive.
Largest lead for Virginia, spurred by Kihei Clark, getting to the rim at will.
Well, good space on the floor.
Three.
Thanks, Captain Obvious.
But you know, we've worked 3 games together this year, and that's the second time you said that to me. Taken away by Beatty, as he did to Cone in the first half.
Moon gold stripes all around us here at the feet. Xavier Johnson, drive and kick. Tony off the bench.
Limit the transition opportunities for Pitt.
No look pass to Champagny from Johnson.
If they want to stay there, including tonight against Boston College. Mitchell for 3, short. With capacity. Popovich for 3, hits it. Third in the ACC, he's got 5 tonight and a couple of serious dimes. Last 2 passes make that 6. Now here's Hamilton for 3. He's had a big second. Defender falls down. Morcell's grabbing his ankle. Hamilton for 3. That bounces off the mark. Popovich for 3. Hits it. Diakite with a block on Pop.
Eventually kicked it back out. Anthony jumper. Got it. Cole Anthony with a 4. Justin Pierce in the game. The William & Mary grad transfer. There he is. Not able to hit.
And Virginia behind them comes in 7-5 on the year in the conference play. Mooney lines up the 3. Notre Dame has missed 5 straight shots. Scoreless for almost 4 minutes.
They have a 7-5 record in the league coming in.
Leschewski for 3. And similar.
They're able to retain the basketball.
They need a shot, 1 to let it go. And the high arcer for Mooney is a... Laszewski lets it fly. Notre Dame tonight led by Laszewski and Mooney, each with 11, and Pfluger scoreless after an 18-point game.
Brett Kimball. To the corner he goes. That is short.
The Clemson Tigers. They'll be opportunistic when they run, but they'll look for the shot clock to run out anytime. That isn't to say that they won't, however, before the end of the year. That free ball just off of the at the 12-minute mark. It's a lot different than getting in at with 1:30 left on the clock. Kevin Mack plays the nylon rim. Kevin Mack. Him too. In his first 3 years, he averaged 5 points a game. Yeah. And he has really stepped up this year for a little over 13. A lot of great play from, among others, Alamir Dawes, who is reading this offensive system of Virginia. That one doesn't. Unbelievable. There's your coach. I mean, you're going to live with those odds. I mean, you got to, Newman. Drains the tray. Occasionally in Braxton Key. All of a sudden, they're sitting there at 7-4. Yeah. In conference right now. Dawes trying to get that in the country.
And after Old Tenside went 7 for 14 against Wake Forest, they're in need of somebody to knock down three. And Ray Rising threw his foot and turned the ankle, and the shot clock goes to 5, and the crowd comes alive. Whoa. Malik Osborne, that was...
Cards look fresh. Now, Malik Williams, who sprained that ankle versus Florida State, is not 100%, but outside of that, this is a fresh move.
Space against Jay Huff in the high post. Here goes Wara on attack. Williams.
Of attacking pressure defense.
Carey challenged by Diakite.
See the top 25.
has tied the ball game at 20. Wara, tough shot. Put back
at the University of Virginia.
Virginia closed the first half on a 6-0 run. They've scored the first 4.
He definitely deserves to be on there. Unfortunately, it's only 5 spots.
Shot and deny.
Earlier in this game, so every time you take a hit, it's going to be a problem. And right now, Chris Mack recognizing they need offense. Jordan Wara gotten them to this 51-51 tie.
Kimball, block, Wara.
I think you're right. That ball was deflected. Wara got Diakite in the air. Crafty. Dan Marino like quick trigger too from him. He did not have much room. Jordan Wara revving it up down the lane. Rebound.
Occasionally in Braxton Key. All of a sudden, they're sitting there at 7-4. Yeah, in conference right now. Dawes trying to get that.
Osborne creates space.
Pass to deliver that to Diakite. Lackadaisical, and it cost him.
Alvarado had a step on Clark, used it the whole.
7 of 37 from 3. He gets those to go. It's a new dynamic for this Virginia offense.
Moses Wright stayed with it. And
is on the board. You got to see a lot of that from Diakite. With this offense, he's got to take matters into his own hands.
To the bucket, count it, and
decided to come back. Right now in a dogfight on the road. Great job on the defensive end.
Where he saw something, and obviously he's got a great eye for talent.
And Tony Bennett was actually out recruiting.
Over 10 points per game. But Aline has not scored in this game. That shot by Nolly was all.
The shot from Key.
where does it, I guess, impact the shot more? High off the window, and they won 51-6. 6 points in the game.
And that's been a consistent theme for Virginia thus far this season. They cannot knock down open shots.
Oxar can't hit a career high. Lawson gets inside.
Okay, they call
block off now.
He's going to look to break him down here going against Morcell, one of the better defenders for a great Virginia defense.
McAdoo to the baseline, and a foul with 11 points call.
This is awesome, man. He doesn't care. Like, he'll just tell you, I'm a boiler, I want to be a boiler, and I'm going to call it like a day. Clark went on the court. Sometimes you got to spell it out for folks.
At least you're not bitter. Ooh. Wheeler, step back, no.
Now he clears. Ooh, that ball off of House, and that's a steal for Arizona State.
Virginia held Columbia to just 29% from three.
Right on point. Has to be when it touches something out of bounds.
And that time, they lose it out of bounds to Columbia. Mamadi Diakite.
This time around, as Tony Bennett told us in Chevron today, he said this is a completely different team. Carey trying to go up strong. He'll draw the foul, and he'll be at the line. In transition now, see if Syracuse wants to push the tempo a little bit. Carey around the back, slicing in and rejected with a...
People making big shots. DeAndre Hunter.
Now Culver with the response. And Diakite.
Bueno, Jerome sigue en la banca. El hombre más importante para Auburn.
18 over the 1, UMBC over Virginia. The Cavs have been able to erase that one this season. That was blocked again by Diakite.
Offensive glass. He also said this is a one-point game. Keep it going. Get after the ball. Be the more aggressive team.
Diakite